The Global Psychosis Network presents The Trashy Show, where everything is a conspiracy, even you are a conspiracy.
Everything is a conspiracy.
Everything is a conspiracy.
Everything is a conspiracy.
Everything.
It's the Trashy Show, where everything is a conspiracy, even you are a conspiracy. I am your host, Jimbo Trashy. This is episode 42. And welcome back to the listeners. And here we are once again, together on the internet. So I want to start off this episode. I'm trying to do something different here where you can see something, because I know it gets boring just staring at a static screen. I'm going to try and make it a little more visually stimulating, because I know it gets boring, like I said, just listening to audio. This is the new logo, by the way, for the Trashy Show. I put the 42 on there because here we are in episode 42. Today, before I started this podcast, I went to go see the movie Weapons. And I haven't been to a movie by myself. I went to go see this by myself, by the way. I haven't done that in probably like 17 years, if I had to guess. I think the last movie I saw was Zodiac by myself. I mean, I've been to the movie since then, to the movie theaters, you know, with my wife or whoever else. But by myself, it's been years. And I went today by myself because my family was doing their own thing with Disneyland and all that stuff. So I was like, okay, well, I got nothing but time today. Why don't I do something I haven't done in a while, which is go see a movie. And it's because the movie Weapons caught my attention with the trailer. I think I'm going to play that movie trailer now. And you can kind of see what's going on here. And then I can give you what I think about the movie since I've seen it. But I'd like you to have maybe a little, I don't know, like an idea of what I'm talking about. So we'll play the trailer and then I'll discuss what I think about the film.
This is a true story that happened in my town. So this one Wednesday is like a normal day for the whole school. But today was different. Every other class had all their kids. But Mrs. Gandy's room was totally empty. And you know why? Because the night before, at 2:17 in the morning, every kid woke up, got out of bed, walked downstairs, and into the dark. And they never came back.
I don't understand at all. Why just her classroom? Why only hers?
Where are our children?
We have a lot of emotional parents here. I think it's best if you keep some distance from this place.
Matthew, where are you? Where did you go?
This is where the story really starts.
Okay, so that trailer actually got me hooked. I don't even remember what I was watching. I was watching just some random shit on YouTube. And, you know, YouTube, by the way, God, the ads have been so fucking brutal. Like, before, it'd be like a 5-second skip, and then you can skip the ad, and then it went to like 10 seconds, and then 15 seconds. Then it was 30 seconds. Now it's like a minute or 45 seconds guaranteed that you're going to have to skip. And then you can't skip it within 5 seconds. You have to watch the whole thing 9 times out of 10. And then a lot of times you'll watch like a 12-minute video. It'll have like 4 ads where you have to skip 1-minute videos. And you have to watch like at least like 40 seconds of it. So I mean, it's getting to the point now where I don't know, man. I'm really getting to a point where I don't even really want to watch YouTube. It just sucks. I mean, I know there's like YouTube TV or like the YouTube Premium or whatever you can pay for, but I'm not paying $82.99 a month or whatever the hell it is. I don't. It's not that important to me. I can always get an ad blocker and watch it on my PC, which I should probably do more often. I just, you know, I like to lay on the couch and fucking watch TV when I get home or whatever. But nonetheless, this movie got my attention, and I really have not been a fan of Hollywood and what they've been doing for the most part for the last probably 10 years, 15 years, whenever wokeness like took over Hollywood officially, and it got to the point where it's like, dude, we have to incorporate this and that and all this needless bullshit to check off all the things on the checklist to make it inclusive. I've really checked out on a lot of movies and TV shows, but this movie, for whatever reason, was like, oh, that looks interesting after seeing this trailer. So I went to go see it today, and I should start off by saying my favorite type of film are movies, they call them thrillers or suspense thrillers, where you don't really know what's going on throughout the entire movie. Like, you're just like, what is going on? What is the point of this? Like, where are we going with this plot? I can't figure it out. I love shit like that. Maybe a tinge of mystery. And I would say that movie, or this movie, Weapons, delivered on that front. Where, I would say for like 2/3 of the film, I'm like, where are they going with this? Like, they have a few options here I could see, you know, foreshadowing. Is it aliens? Is it, I don't know, a cult? Like, what are they doing here? And in that regard, I really loved what they did. And I actually loved the film overall. I don't want to imply that I don't really like the film. I actually thought the film was awesome. It had great storytelling, great pacing. You know, there was no times in the movie where I'm like, God, this is getting kind of dragged on. I want to get over this and go to the next scene. Or I don't know what's going on here. It feels like filler. I didn't feel like there was any filler. It was good in that regard. The only thing I would say that I didn't like was, or I wouldn't say didn't like, but I would have preferred more backstory or maybe character development for the antagonist. And I'm trying not to spoil the film because I know maybe some people will see this, all four of you, you know, and you'll maybe go to the theater and watch this film, or maybe you'll see it when it's on, you know, Netflix or wherever it goes. But it was a good film. I really enjoyed it, and I would definitely recommend it. It definitely took you for a loop, and I don't know what else to say on this, but I would recommend going to see this film if you're into the theaters. If you're not into the theaters, it's definitely a must watch when it's on a app, because it's fucking cool. And this is someone who hates most of Hollywood shit, but I mean, they're don't get me wrong, they did put a little inclusive stuff in there. There is a gay couple, whatever. I don't care if there's a gay couple in the film, because I get, you know, you're trying to create characters that are diverse and society's diverse. I just say when it feels like it's forced. It didn't necessarily feel forced, and they didn't like rub it in your face. Oh, he's gay, everyone. It was just a gay couple, whatever. I don't care. It didn't overshadow the plot or what was going on in the movie, and that's fine. So I think they did a good job. Some of the stuff in here, though, it was just like, like that was a cool scene. It was just an interesting idea for a film, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I definitely recommend it. And like I said, just maybe a little more. The ending kind of fell flat to me. I will say that. Not that it wasn't good. I just feel like it could have been better. You could have added some more stuff to it, tied up some loose ends. Unless they're gonna make a sequel, I don't know how you would really make a sequel out of this film. But there were some loose ends there that I felt like that you could have tied up just to like let the viewer go home. Let's see if I can find. I don't know if this trailer shows it. Let's see if I can find it here. No, you can't really see it on this one. Let me try trailer 2. There's a second trailer here. I keep skipping through. Where is that?
I just want to say
where's
how...
that guy, dude? See how they're running like that?
Very sorry,
it was really quick.
She should be locked up until she tells us what happened.
The truth is that I want to...
Oh, this guy right here. Okay, so watch this part. So he's running. He's kind of got his... See, he did it again. See how their arms are like sticking out? They kind of run like they're flying, like Superman or something. See if I can find that scene. It's really quick. If you look, see she's got her arms out. And then back here. Where the hell did it go? Okay, right here. You see this little kid running on the camera with their arms out. See that?
Very sorry.
That little kid didn't do the greatest job. But what they're trying to show is like when they're possessed or whatever is going on with them, they stick their arms out like they're flying like an airplane. And like they kind of stick their arms back behind their back and they just like run full force like a missile. Like a heat-seeking missile, right? So, anyways, when I went to go see this movie, I was the only one in the theater except for two girls in the front. Or like, not the front, but like the middle. When you first like walk up the little ramp and then you turn the little aisle and you see like what seats are available. There were like two girls like right there in the front. Like I don't know how old, maybe 25 or something. I didn't pay attention. I just saw there was two people in the theater. And I parked my ass way at the fucking back. I always like to sit at the very back, last row, because I don't know, I just don't like people behind me. I don't know what it is. I guess maybe from just past experiences in life where someone's like throwing something at the back of my head or whatever, like popcorn or whatever. I don't like to have people behind me, so I like to be the last fucking back row. And I was chilling in dead center, like the perfect seat because it was empty. Anyway, so after we watched this film, it was a great film. We all saw it, and we're all fucking the three of us that were in the theater were like taking it in. The credits start rolling. So I get up and I'm getting ready to leave, and I don't know what it is. I guess because I'm a prankster at heart. I don't try to prank too much because I know it does piss people off. But in this regard, I'm like, or in this situation, I'm like, there's no way it's gonna hurt anybody. So when I was walking down the stairs, I knew they were gonna like look up, like, oh, this person's leaving, and the only person that's in the theater besides me and my friend here. So as soon as they started to look at me, I didn't look at them, but I just like saw them in my peripheral. As soon as they turned their head, I just darted out of the theater with my arms behind me, like I was possessed, and I could hear them like, "Oh my god!" and like they made some sort of comment or whatever, and like snickered or whatever. But yeah, that's the kind of person I am. I like to make jokes if I can, and hopefully they found it funny. I found it funny. But anyways, that's what I did today before this podcast was watch Weapons. So if you're into a movie type of thing, if you're a movie buff, I would recommend seeing that. I'm looking at my show notes real quick here, and I'm wondering if maybe some of you are curious why it's called the Trashy Show now. Before it was called the Jimbo Trashy Podcast, and I had mentioned that I feel like that title has been kind of outplayed or it's obsolete now. Like, who cares? Podcast. Everyone's got a podcast. Who gives a shit? So this isn't really so much now the Trashy Show to showcase it being a podcast, even though it is. It's more to showcase basically how I feel like my life is. We call it the Trashy Show. Me and my wife have joked about it for years. We call it the Trashy Show. We'll say, oh, we had a Trashy Show moment. And it really stems from the movie Truman Show. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that, but it was a popular film back in, I think, the late 90s or maybe early 00s, somewhere around there. And anyways, the first time I saw that movie, it really resonated with me. And I was like, oh shit, I kind of like feel that plot has been my life from like day one. I didn't know like how to describe it or like what to call it or, if it's even feasible to explain to somebody without sounding insane. But I was like, dude, that movie is my life in a lot of ways. And I guess that kind of like aligns with simulation theory. If you look that up, people I believe like this whole reality as we know it is a simulation, and I feel like that is the way it is in a lot of regards. But that's kind of how it started with the Truman Show, seeing that film, and being like, oh, that's it, dude. It's not the Truman Show, it's the Trashy Show. And then I decided to like expand from there and kind of use that as like a marketing ploy for what I experience and what I'm trying to do with my little tiny corner on the internet, right? So why do I feel like my life was the Trashy Show, or where's the comparisons? Like, why do you feel like, they say, oh, you have I forget the term, like first player syndrome or something, or you think like the whole world revolves around you. It's not that. I don't think like this is my universe and you guys are all just NPCs. Although it does feel like that in a lot of ways. It's more just like it feels like life kind of sets you up to fail or succeed. And it like kind of throws it in your face whether you are ready for it or not. And it's up to you to navigate and kind of use your brain power with your IQ level and whatever else you got going on to find a fix or a remedy or a workaround to like continue existing without fucking up your life too bad. Or maybe you can enhance your life. So a classic example I like to use is like, I'm a person who doesn't like to be late. I feel like a piece of shit if I'm like even 2 minutes late. I just internally, no one said anything, I just internally feel like I'm a piece of shit for being late. I told someone to be here at 10 o'clock. I didn't get here till 10:05 or 10:02. And I just feel like I failed. Like when you play Super Mario Brothers and like you hear the music speeding up because I hurry the fuck up, dude, get the flag. You get the flag and jump on the flagpole, or otherwise you suck. That's what it feels like when I don't get somewhere on time, especially when I promised you, or I've signed a contract to say I gotta be here at this time to do this. I just hate it. So I try to be early, like 9 times out of 10. But we're all humans, right? So sometimes that doesn't always come to fruition. Sometimes you're just a little too tired and you don't get there on time. So what do you generally do when you're running late? You rush. You start doing things quicker than you normally would. You're running red lights. You're fucking doing California stops at stop signs. You're half-assing your fucking hair while you're combing it. You're doing whatever you can to just get out the door and get there as quickly as possible. But I've noticed whenever I am early, or I'm just, I'm right on time, and I have plenty of time, I don't have to rush, I'll get every single green light, I'll get no traffic, and everything's just smooth. It's just smooth as silk, and we're just doing our day like we always do. But when I'm running late, when I got like, I gotta be there, I gotta clock in, or I gotta be at that place in like 7 minutes, or whatever the hell it is, and I'm like fucking 15 minutes behind or whatever, and I'm running, as fast as I can to get there, there's every obstacle in the way to make sure that it's the most difficult process to get from point A to point B. And here's an example. So typically, where I work, I have to be there at 6 in the morning. And I'm usually always there at least 15 minutes early, if not an hour earlier or 2 hours earlier if I want to do overtime. But I'm always there early. I'm never there. I'm never like, oh shit, I gotta be there in 2 minutes. There's been those rare occasions where I'm like, oh shit, I need to be there in like 4 minutes and I'm not, I'm running late. And where I live, there's like 2 stop signs. And it's early as fuck in the morning, no one's even up. If someone's up, it's very few people. But every single time that I have been running late, and I'm like kind of coasting, I'm like kind of doing a quick double take, and then I just kind of coast through the stop sign instead of doing a complete stop. And I won't say every single time, because there'll be other variables that'll make me delayed. But like at least like a quarter of the time, if not half the time, there will be some like random jogger, some dude who's wearing like all black, not even like clothes where you can see them. You would think like, hey, it's 5 in the morning, and I'm like jogging in the street. Let me wear like some neon reflector shit, or like a white, t-shirt or tank top or fucking hoodie, something to like so we can see you. No, they'll be wearing like pitch black, and they'll be like jogging across the crosswalk right when my car is like pulling up and like half-assing that stop sign. Whereas if I didn't stop, I'm gonna fucking hit them every single time. Oh, I keep exaggerating. Not every single time, but let's say 75% of the time. Is that fair? Like a good portion of the time, like enough to piss me off. Like I'll get up in the morning, I got plenty of time ahead of me. One stop sign, stop, no one's there. Pull up to the next stop sign, stop, no one's there, and go. When I'm in a rush, stop, pull up to the stop sign, kind of half-ass it with the stop, and like kind of coast through it. Go. Second stop sign. Oh shit, there's somebody right there. And they're wearing pitch black. They're wearing a black sweater, a black hoodie or whatever, black pants. Like everything's pitch black. I couldn't even fucking see them. I just happened to see them at the very last second. And my gut instinct was like, punch it and just fucking go, because there's no one out right now. It's 4 in the morning or 5 in the morning. Nope, here's this random jogger just manifested out of nowhere. So that's like my most current or like reoccurring example of what I mean when I say the Trashy show, where it's a simulation. It feels like the universe has spawned that character to like cross the street at that exact moment. You know what I mean? It's like, I got up, I brushed my teeth, I took a shower, I got up and made breakfast, all that stuff. I was ready to walk out the door at like, 4:42 a.m. Then I was like, wait, hold on a second, I forgot my phone. So I go back in there, grab my phone. Now I'm leaving at 4:43 a.m. I go to my car, bolt out because I'm fucking running late or whatever, let's say. And then here's that random jogger, because I'm running late, ready to get fucking sideswiped by my car so I can go spend life in prison or fucking however many X amount of years in prison because, oh, manslaughter, the guy wasn't paying attention, whatever. So that's when I say the Trashy show. It's just like unfortunate circumstances like thrown your way constantly, and to see how you can navigate around it. that's basically where it came from, and that's like my day to day. I've had not just that experience. That's just the most easy experience for me to explain to you when I say the Trashy show, what that is and what it means. So I'm gonna give you some more examples here. Tossing the baseball to the little girl. Okay, so when I was like 12 or 13, I forgot, maybe 14, somewhere on that age, me and my friend used to skateboard, not just one friend, but like all of us, like the neighborhood kids. We would go and like skateboard. We got a skateboard, then another kid got a skateboard, then this kid got a skateboard, and the fucking dorky ass kid that never wanted to get off his ass, he got a skateboard. We were all skateboarding around town, right? And that was our mode of transportation for years, because there was a point when basically they passed a law where you have to wear a bicycle helmet if you wanted to ride a bicycle. Like if you're under the age 18, you had to wear the fucking bicycle helmet. And the bicycle helmets look so fucking gay, and they even like shaped them like the head of a penis or a dick. So it's like, dude, why do you have to make it like that? Can you just make it look cool, like maybe a motorcycle helmet or something? No, it's like aerodynamic with a little fucking lip on it. Like they made it so gay looking that like every kid was like, I'm not wearing that shit. So the kids were like, okay, so I'm not gonna ride a bicycle anymore because I don't want to look like a literal dick. So what can we do? So a lot of kids were like, oh, fuck it, I'll just skateboard because they don't care about skateboards. So anyway, we all started skateboarding, and on this one particular occasion, we're just skateboarding through the town, and a baseball like bounces in front of us, and I'm like, oh shit, it's a baseball. And then I get off my board, and my friend stops, and we both stop, and there's like some little kid, like we're probably, like I said, 12, 13, 14, and then there's this like group of like 5 or 6 year olds, and they're playing baseball, like t-ball or whatever they were doing. Maybe they might have been a little older. They might have been like 7 or 8, 9 at the oldest. Little kids, right? So they're all like, hey, can you get us our ball? Hey, can you get us our ball? Because we're like on the other side of a fence, like outside of their little school, and we're in the street, right? Like on a little residential street, and the ball bounced into the gutter. So I'm like, all right, sure, I'll get you the ball. So I go and get the ball, and all the kids are like, give it to me, I want it, I want the ball. And I'm like, well, I don't know which kid to give it to, right? Like, I'm not going to, like, go, here, you get the ball, because you're, like, the favorite, you know? So, I'm like, how can I make this interesting? So, I'm like, all right, let me just throw, like, a high-ass, like, as high as I can, straight up into the sun, fly ball, and then whoever can catch it, it's their ball. And they deserved it because they caught it, you know? So, I throw that ball as high as I can. And it's, like, way up in the sky. You see all the kids, like, raising their gloves, and they're, like, squinting because the sun's in their eyes. And they're all, like, trying to, like, grab it with their glove and shit as it comes down. And then, all of a sudden, I don't know if, like, if there was a gust of wind or something, but it, like, blows past, like, all the, like, 7 or 8 kids that are trying to catch it. And there's this other little girl who's not even playing the game. She's just, like, standing there, like, watching the kids play a game. Probably, like, 15 feet away or something. Like, she wanted to play, but she wasn't really sure if she wanted to play. Because or maybe they didn't have enough gloves or something. And she's, like, looking at the ball, too. And she's watching the ball, and the ball comes down, and she's looking at it, and hits right on the top of the head. Like, bunk, right at the top of her forehead. And all the kids are like, oh shit, the ball went past us. They look back and see the ball bounce off the top of her head. And then she just, like, stands there after the ball bounces off her head, and falls on her ass, and then just starts crying hysterically. All of a sudden you see, I'm like, oh shit. Oh no, are you okay? Like, oh shit. And then here comes like the teacher, or, like the adult that was like in charge, right? And she like hustles over there, and she's like, "What's the matter? What's wrong?" And the girl's like in so much pain she can't even like say what happened. She's just like crying and like pointing to her head and like at the ball, and like the woman doesn't know what's going on. And then she's like, "What's the matter? The ball hit you? Like, how did the ball hit you?" And then like all the little kids that were about to, they're like, "Who hit you with the lady's like, who hit you with the ball?" And all the kids like point at him like he threw it at her, and they all point at me, like I like purposely threw the ball at her. And then I'm like looking to my friend like, "Hey," because it was me and another buddy. I looked to my buddy like, "Hey, like cover for me here. I didn't fucking do it on purpose. I just threw the ball up in the air and it bounced off her head. It was like total dumb luck." And I go to look, my friend's already like skateboarding down the street, like laughing his ass off because he doesn't want to be in this situation. So I like try to explain to the woman like, "Hey, I didn't throw the ball at her. I was throwing it in the air and it hit her in the head." And she's looking at me like, "What did you do, you little bastard?" Like, and she doesn't even give a fuck what I'm saying. All she sees in her brain is that I hurt some little kid and I'm standing there like a fucking bully on the outside of the fence, like laughing or something. That's the way she was looking at me. And I'm trying to explain it to her, and she's just looking like, "What did you do?" I'm gonna have to call her parent. Like, I fuck this, and I just got on my skateboard and I skated down the street because like, fuck this situation. Simulation, you're setting me up, and I'm out of here. That was like my first experience where I'm like, "What's going on here? Why am I getting set up?" That's like I mean, there's probably earlier experiences that I could probably tell you, but that's the one I can remember off the top of my head. Like one of the earliest ones, it was like a simulation setting me up for some sort of experience where I'm like the bad guy or something, and I'm trying to like explain myself out of the situation. It was like a sitcom, That's what it felt like, a sitcom, the Trashy show. And I'm trying to like, I didn't mean to. It was an accident, I swear. I was trying to, and they're just like looking at me like, "No, you did that on purpose." And little kids are pointing at me like, he did it. So it was really just like a fuck situation in that regard. And then as I got older, I had noticed like, people would just like stare at me like oddly. I know when you're out in public, you're like, "Oh, that person's here, that person's here." You walk into a restaurant, like, "Oh, it's pretty crowded there." You kind of do a glance over, you kind of acknowledge all the people in the room. If someone's, maybe they have a green mohawk or something, you might look at them for an extra second, go, "Oh, he's got a green mohawk, okay." Anyways, back to my business, right? I've had multiple encounters where people just like will not stop staring at me. Like I'm famous, or like I'm a celebrity. Like, I'll just, like, be walking into a restaurant, or I'll be walking into a store, and, like, the person will not stop. Like, they'll stop what they're doing, and, like, just, like, "I gotta go, he's here," and, like, stare at me. And I'll kind of glance over, look at him, okay, and do the acknowledgement nod, and go about my business. And then, when you can, like, feel someone staring at you, I'll, like, look back over, and, like, they're still staring at me. It's like, dude, I've been here for, like, 3 minutes. What the fuck are you looking at? Do you like my shirt? Like, what? I don't know what the deal is. They'll never say what they're looking at. They'll just, like, keep staring, And then, like, when it's a chick, okay, maybe she thinks I'm hot or something. But then it'll be, like, all walks of life. It'll be, like, some old grandma, or, like, some tough guy, or, like, just some random person that, like, it's like, why the fuck are these people staring at me? Quit fucking staring at me. That shit really would get on my fucking nerves. And then, especially would translate when I go to, like, a bar, and now you're just asking for it, because I go to a bar, and there'd be Mr. Tough Guy, the guy who thinks he's the toughest dude at the bar, and he's staring at me. And I'm like, okay, this guy wants to fight or something. I'm gonna go to this side of the bar, and I'll see his eyes just kind of follow me around. And he's just throughout the whole night. I mean, he's doing his thing, he's drinking, he's talking to chicks or whatever. But throughout the night, he's like glancing over and just like making sure that like I'm aware that he's still there, and that at some point we're gonna interact. And I got in a lot of bar fights because of situations like that. And then even like towards the end of my bar run, when I was quote unquote a regular, it got to a point like towards the end of that run where I was like, you know what, like I don't even want to go out. Like my girlfriend, now my wife, at the time she was my girlfriend, but back then she'd be like, "Come on, let's go out. Don't you want to go out? Like your friend, it's like your friend's like 24th or not 24th, like probably at this point like 30th. It's like your friend's 30th birthday. Don't you want to go?" I'm like, "Nah, I really don't want to go because I just don't want to deal with idiots. Come on, just go." So I would get pressured into going. Not pressured, but just like, all right, fine. They went to my thing, so I'll go to their thing. And I would get there, and I would even say like, "Hey, I'm just gonna sit in this corner over here in the dark corner of the bar, all my friends would be surrounding me. So I'm like, you can't even really see me unless you go through the sea of humanity. And like, oh, there he is behind this big crowd of people. I'd even have my wife like go get the drinks, or my girlfriend at the time. Like, so hey, I want another like Jack and Coke. Can you go get it? And she would go buy it for me, or she'd go to the bar and order it. And then even when I did that, there would still be some dude like they were always shit faced too. They were just like at the point like you just like push them on their forehead and they would like fall over and be knocked out. It wasn't like I'm worried or I'm like, oh no, they're gonna beat me up. It wasn't like a fear or a concern of like, what am I gonna do? It was just like, why is this guy singling me out? This guy is shit-faced drunk, and for whatever reason, out of all the opportunities, all the dudes you could fight, you want to pick me. So I remember one time we were at a bar, and there, like that situation, I'm in the back corner. It was like my friend's birthday or something. I'm sitting in the back corner. I'm surrounded by probably like 20 people, and my girl's like coming up to me constantly, "Do you want a drink? You want another drink?" And she would go get it, deal with all the bullshit. And as the night got later and later and later, the crowd disperses a little bit. So now I can kind of see who's like on the other side of the bar, and I see this dude just standing there with a drink. His eyes are like bloodshot red, and he's just staring. I don't even know if he's even drinking. He might even just been holding a beer, but he's not drinking it. He's not talking to anybody. He's not dancing to music. He's not even interacting with anybody. He's literally just standing there, probably about 50 feet away from me, and just like staring directly at me. And I'm thinking, okay, maybe he's looking. There's some cute girls here. Maybe he's looking at the girl that's like right next to me, or like some of my friends. There's some cute girls there. Maybe he's talking, or maybe he's like wanting to go talk to them. Nope, he's looking right through everybody and just staring directly at me. And then, as it gets later and later, the crowd's getting smaller. Like the people I'm with is getting smaller and smaller. And like now we're getting down to like 5 people now, and I can see him like walking over, like, hey. What's that shirt you got on? Or like, who did your haircut? Or just like, what's that tattoo say? Like, just any excuse to try and talk to me. And I'm like, okay, let's go. It's time to go. And I would like tell my girl, like, we gotta go. And we would just get up, and a couple friends that kind of knew the drill, and we would just like walk out and leave together, because if I stayed any bit longer, there's gonna be some shit popping off, because that guy wants to beat my ass for whatever fucking reason. So again, another example of like what the Trashy Show is. It's almost like they were like hired, or like their purpose for today's episode is to like fuck with me. So, and then here's another thing that really tripped me out. I went to go see a psychic on Catalina Island, and what was it, 2015? It was like our first year anniversary after we got married, and it was on a whim. I didn't believe in psychics. I was never like, oh, I need to go see a psychic someday. Like, it never called to me, It just, we were newlyweds and we're like, what should we do? Like, fuck, we already went to some bars. We did some sightseeing shit. Like, what do you want to do now? So we're just like walking around, and I saw a sign that said psychic. So hey, let's go see this psychic. I never seen one of those before. Let's just see what that's about, So my girl said, okay, let's go. My girl was down to check out the psychic shit, and we walk in there, and then she's like, who's the reading for? I said, for me. And my girl just sat to the side and just quietly listened, and she's like, oh, you're gonna have twins. And I'm like, what? She's like, yeah, you're gonna have twins. You're gonna have 3 kids actually, but 2 of them are gonna be twins. And she just told me this whole spiel of my life and what's gonna be going on. And at this time of my life, I wasn't breaking the bank. I mean, I was living paycheck to paycheck basically in the entertainment industry, trying to make a name for myself, and just hurting pretty bad. And she's like, oh, next year's your year, financially. And I go, what does that mean? I'm going to be rich? She's like, no, not rich. You're just going to be really well off, and you won't have to worry about finances like you are today. And I'm like, okay, that sounds cool. I mean, I'll take it. I mean, I wasn't like smiling or like frowning when she told me anything like I didn't like or whatever. I was just keeping a poker face the whole time. Just, okay. Like acknowledging what she says, but not reacting to it, if that makes sense. And then she told me, like, oh, I need to take care of my health. And she, like, touched the right side of, like, my hip. So you need to take care of your health. The left side of my hip. So you need to take care of yourself. You're going to have some health problems on this side. And then I ended up having a kidney stone probably, like, 6 weeks after this psychic visit on my left side. On the left side where she touched, basically, is where I had my kidney stone. And then I got a job opportunity, like, literally, like, this couple months after that. And started like a guaranteed, like, oh, you're gonna make this amount of money this amount of money, per year, and it was like a cush job, and just like all you gotta do is accept it. And I got that, and my finance problems went away. I was like almost 100,000 in debt at this point, like up to my eyeballs in debt. I was able to pay off like the majority of it, like 90% of it, in the next year after this, and then pretty much everything she said came true, except for the twins, or three kids, but like especially the twins. Like, yeah, it's possible I'll probably have a kid. I mean, I wouldn't doubt that, or maybe even more than one kid. But you're telling me I'm gonna have a kid and then two twins, and then fast forward like almost 10 years later, and I have twins. So it's like, to me, that really blew my mind, because it was like, what the fuck? Like, is my life just already written out for me, and I'm just kind of experiencing it chapter by chapter? So I don't really have free will in a lot of ways. Maybe it feels like free will, because you can do option A, B, C, D, E, F, G, but you're going to have to make one of those options that have already been pre-planned or pre-written for you. And the psychic visit is what really opened my eyes to that, and really, to me, solidified that it's all simulation, and that it's the Trashy Show. And then just overall, just like how my life has played out. Like when I was first, I was always a kid who was girl crazy. Like back in like kindergarten and whatnot, I was already like chasing girls. Like, this is my girlfriend. We played at recess. Like, that's my girlfriend, and the girl would like give me a kiss on the cheek or something. Like, what 5-year-old gives a fuck about that kind of shit? I was like girl crazy. A lot of kids like thought, ew, girls are gross. Like, I never thought that. I was always like, I want a girlfriend. This is the girl I'm gonna play with at recess. Nothing sexual, obviously. It was just like, this is my girlfriend, and this is who I want to hang out with, a chick. I don't want to hang out with a dude. I want to hang out with a chick. And I had that naive mindset clear up until I was in high school, and then I met this girl named Jamie, who was like my high school sweetheart. And I just remember like, I would hit on her like every single day during first period before we start class. It was like freshman year of high school, and I would hit on her like every day, try to get her attention, try to make her laugh, and she just was not interested at all. She would just like roll her eyes, or just like, whatever, James, you're not gonna get this. Like, keep looking, you're not gonna get it, And then probably after like 3 months of like pestering her and like trying to like woo her and influence her with my charm and whatnot, she finally gave me the opportunity to take her out on a date. We went on a date, and I was instantly whooped. Bought her gifts, and just like everything was just like, oh, this is my girl. This is the girl I'm married. I just assumed in my head, because my parents were high school sweethearts and they got married and had a kid, that's what I'm gonna do, because that's just normal. That's natural, right? You marry the girl you go to high school with, that you fall in love with, and all that shit. And obviously that didn't happen. And it wasn't just a breakup. It wasn't just like, hey, we kind of grew apart, or I'm gonna go to college. No, it was like a bad breakup. We did not get along. After a certain period of time, she would just like find any reason to fight with me, and we just weren't meant for each other. We were complete opposites. I was more of a party animal, and she was more preppy and just really concerned about her image and all that shit. Where I'm more goth and into the punk scene, So it should have never happened in the first place. To be honest, she was nice enough to give me a chance because she saw me being persistent, And I guess it doesn't hurt that I was a good-looking guy, So. But after that happened, I became a lot more jaded. I was no longer, I'm going to marry like the first girl that, gives me the time of day, and we're going to get married and have kids. The fairy tale shit ended, right? But I was a little jaded, but I wasn't completely jaded. I was still kind of dumb. Like, okay, well, the next girl. It'll be the next girl that, I get serious with. And then fast forward to like college days, and here's a girl that I didn't necessarily even think was that attractive. She was cute or whatever. She was okay. But I wasn't like, oh, this girl's my type or anything. She pursued me. And because she pursued me strongly and was into me hard, I assumed, oh, so this is the universe telling me this is the one. And I need to buck up and just accept that this is what the universe is offering me. This is the girl for me. She wants me. What girl's really that into you? No girl's been this strongly into you until now. So this is the one. So there was other girls I was talking to, but I was making the effort. This is the girl that was making the effort towards me, chasing me. So I was kind of dumbfounded by that. I'm like, oh shit, I guess I don't have my priorities right. This is the one I need to be with. So I was with her for like a year and a half, 2 years, and then we had like the worst breakup because she cheated on me, and I found like not love letters, but like she was telling her girlfriends like through email how bad she wanted to cheat on me because she found this new guy, and or not that she wanted to cheat, but like she just felt like she shouldn't cheat, but she just had this strong calling to like just fuck this other dude because it'd be a bad girl thing to do, and she just is getting turned on by that or something. And I like read this email that she left on my computer like a dumbass. So once I went to that whole breakup, that's what really spawned Jimbo Trashy as the person that you may assume I am today. Where I'm just like, you know what? Fuck relationships. Fuck committing to chicks because they're all trash. They're all just gonna be scandalous, and I'm just gonna play them like a fiddle. I'm gonna tell them whatever they want to hear. I'm gonna like bullshit them in any way to get what I want out of them, which was sex. And that's really what spawned Jimbo Trashy. And I feel like that, it felt like those things had to happen in order for me to become who I am. So that was another thing that felt like the Trashy show. It's like we can't have a trashy show unless we have a trashy person, a Jimbo Trashy, right? Because before I'm just, who I am, and I'm just, a cookie cutter, like, okay, I'm gonna get married and have kids. It couldn't be simple for me. I had to have a whole fucking ordeal, right? Where I had this entire decade of just like hitting it and quitting it and just like having 4 or 5 booty calls in rotation at all times. And the whole reason why I became or am known as Jimbo Trashy is because one of the chicks I was fucking around with, she asked me what I was into, and I told her what I was into, and she's like, "Ugh, you're trashy." She didn't mean like gross. She just meant like, oh, you're kinky, but she said trashy. And I liked the way that sounded, so I'm like, yeah, I'm trashy, I'm Jimbo Trashy. Or back then I said James Trashy, and I've changed it to Jimbo now because I thought Jimbo sounds better than James Trashy. It just rolls off the tongue better, Jimbo Trashy, instead of James Trashy. But that was basically like, I feel like those things had to happen. Like there was no, the universe made that shit happen, ensured it happened, so I would become Jimbo Trashy. Until I got married and finally settled down. Otherwise, I probably would have had kids and been married way sooner in life. And probably wouldn't have done half the shit I've done as far as music and cartoons and all the stuff I've done. A lot of stuff comes from like pain or like, things that you want to get off your chest. I don't know if I would have ever had that if I didn't get fucked over by chicks early on in my life, And then alluding to the whole simulation theory. I was raised Catholic, kind of like, not forced, but just kind of like I had to go to Catholic school, which I didn't want to do. They didn't really shove it down my throat and like, you better be Catholic, but it was like, I had to at least be aware that, Catholicism existed and that that's how we are. This is our family. This is how we were raised. And then you're going to be part of it too. You don't have to necessarily be, a church-going Catholic at all times, but you definitely need to be aware of it, so to speak. Anyway, so of course, as I got older, I rebelled and became atheist. And I was atheist for a long time during that period, just not really giving a fuck about anything, really, besides just, getting pussy or getting drugs or whatever the hell it would be. Just, a very self-centered, me kind of life, And it wasn't until all these situations would happen, Trashy show incidents, where I started becoming more agnostic and then eventually just believing in a higher power. I think the final nail in the coffin for me, as far as like, that's it. You're a believer in a higher power, in a religion, God, Jesus Christ, what have you, was when COVID happened. And I watched all these like soccer moms and just like basic bitch people like turn into like bad guys from a movie. Like, where are you going? You need to wear a mask. And just like why are you so concerned about my freedom and what I'm doing? Like, to me, that's like, I really saw like evil, And that's when I was like, that's it, dude. Like, we're experiencing, like, they say like I guess the way to explain it, you have to see the darkness sometimes to see the light. You can't see or appreciate what the light is until you see the dark. And that's basically what happened. That's how I became someone who realized that it's not just we're not just some random dot in the universe. Like, there's things that happen for a particular reason. And another particular thing I could say about my life is I got a DUI, because I was living this life of being a dumbass, fucking all these chicks, driving around drunk, getting in trouble, getting in fights, and not really acknowledging what's going on in the world around me. Just kind of, like I said, living day to day. Who can I fuck this time? Where can I go for this band? Like, there's a concert, I'm gonna go to this concert. Just being, I guess, for lack of a better term, an NPC. And then I finally got a DUI because I felt invincible for years. Like, oh, I can drink and drive. And there was one time where I remember me and my cousin, we probably had I think I had 17 shots. I mean, it was really weak, like vodka. It was like raspberry flavored vodka. It was like really weak, pussy ass shit. But it was still alcohol. And I probably had 17 shots of this shit. Not huge shots, little tiny shots, but 17 of them. Enough to be drunk for sure, And this is when I was working at a grocery store at 3 o'clock in the morning. My shift started at 3 a.m. because I was doing overnight. The stocking the shelves. So I had to be there, I had to be there at 3 a.m. and I was off at 8 a.m. So my dumb ass is okay, well, I'm going to drink and watch South Park with my cousin until fucking 2 a.m. and then I'll get ready for work. So we're I remember even saying okay, one more shot for the road, and I took a shot and then went and fucking almost got a DUI because I was the only car on the road, and the cop pulls me over, and I passed the sobriety test as far as walking the line and all that shit. And in fact, the funny thing is, the cop pulled me over, and the cop, he was an Asian cop, and he's you know why I pulled you over? And I'm no, I don't. And he's because you're going well over 90 miles an hour. And I was driving an Astro van back then. Those cars do not go faster. You can put pedal to the metal as hard as you want. It's not going faster than 85. If you're, and that's, it's fully tuned, So theoretically, it probably only goes 90 on paper, but it only went 80 miles an hour. But he was saying I'm going well over 90. So because I knew this already, that my car was such a slow piece of shit, I'm officer, with all due respect, you're out of your mind. I should have said that to him to his face, while he's fucking talking to me. And he didn't know what to say to that. He literally just I'll be right back. And he walked away, and he went to go talk to his partner. And then his partner comes up to me now. He's I need you to step out of the car. So he asked me to step out of the car, and then had me do the whole field sobriety testing, and I passed it. I mean, I weighed I was probably 235, 40 pounds, and I was fucking really built back then. Pretty much all muscle, And I was bigger than both the cops. So the guy was, all right, you're a big boy. I think you can handle your booze. But just do me a favor, park your car here. You should go into work. I'm yeah, I got to be at work in 5 minutes, dude. He's all right, just go to work, but do not drive. I'm all right, cool. So ever since that happened, I felt oh, I'm invincible, dude. I'm not going to get pulled over by cops. I can handle my booze and shit. Fast forward a year or two later, I ended up getting a DUI. And it really sucked when I got that DUI, because that's the end of my party life almost, in a way. Unless I wanted to be a complete idiot and just fuck up my life and keep driving and keep getting DUIs and all that shit. But it was a wake-up call for me. I need to stop doing what I'm doing. I need to quit going to bars. I need to quit chasing skirts. I already have a girl at home that fucking wants me and wants to marry me at this point. I need to quit being a dumbass, right? So the most important thing of that was I stopped going out. But the thing is that sucked with that is I lost my job at the exact same time because I was driving for a living back then. Or it wasn't necessarily I wasn't a delivery driver, but I had to drive a company vehicle to do what I was doing. So as soon as they found out I had a DUI, they let me go. So now I don't have a job, and I can't drive, and I'm basically depressed now. Thank God my wife now, was there with me and was sticking through it. But I was depressed, and I was not doing shit. I just fucking stayed home all day and just sat at home and didn't do shit. Woe was me kind of thing. Well, because I had all this free time, now I'm well, shit, what am I going to do? I guess I'll look for a job I can go walk to. Well, you can only do so much job applying before, okay, well, I've applied at every fucking dumb place around me. What else can I do? I don't know, I'll just go surf the internet and just read, different things. Well, I ended up coming across like Alex Jones, or I don't know, maybe Alex Jones just popped up in my feed somehow. I don't know how I came across Alex Jones, but I came across Alex Jones, and he had mentioned like Bohemian Grove, and I just started going down the rabbit hole. What's Bohemian Grove? What's Illuminati? What's this? What's that? And I just fucking, for the next like 6 months while I was unemployed, just read every single thing I could possibly find on conspiracy theories and like stuff that I didn't even heard the words. You know what I mean? Like this is how mind blown I was. Never even heard the word Illuminati. Like no one's ever like, hey, did you hear about the Illuminati? Nothing. So I went from like not knowing anything to like, oh shit, Illuminati, Bohemian Grove, Bilderberg Group, like the Rothschilds. Like I got a complete crash course on conspiracy theories and just like random occult shit in like 6 months. And I felt like that had to happen because during that time, musically, I was coming to like a standstill and like what I even want to write about. Just I was kind of falling out of love with like writing music because I'm like, what am I gonna write about? Like, what am I gonna rap about? Why do I even want to make music anymore? I've already sang about, you know, drugs or like chicks or, you know, God or something, you know. And I was running out of ideas. Like, what the fuck? I don't even really want to do this anymore. Once I got this whole like Pandora's box of shit into my head, ever since then, the ideas and the possibilities have been endless. My brain has been a constant, since that point forward, a non-stop factory of like ideas and thoughts and possibilities. Like, oh, what if I did this? What if I did that? Oh, that'd be a good idea. You know, and it just never ended since then. And I felt like that had to happen. Again, another Trashy Show moment where I had to experience that to be where I am today. Where we're now listening to the Trashy Show podcast, episode 42. And then beyond that, once you get opened up to, you know, the ideas of what's out there and all the darkness, and you start learning about Hollywood and what's really required to make it in that industry, it's not about your talent. I mean, talent helps for sure. You're going to get their attention. But they want you to be someone they can use sexually, market you, and then use you up, right? So if they can't use you in that regard because you're aware of what they're trying to do, you're not pliable. You're not needed. Because they can find someone that's just as talented, if not more talented than you, who is completely naive to what they're trying to do. So in a way, it kind of ruined it kind of made me like, because I felt like I abandoned my goals in a lot of ways when I was not pursuing them as hard as I should have. Like I just kind of fell off, just not putting out the music as quickly, not going to those venues to try and like put out flyers and shit. Because I was like, you know what, at the end of the day, I don't want to be signed to a record label where I'm someone's puppet. And you find out you don't get to just sign a record label and be a rock star or, you know, a creator of something without being someone's bitch. It just doesn't work that way. You can't be your own boss. If you're gonna be at that level of entertainment, you're someone's bitch. That's just the way it is. You know? You can be your own boss, but you're going to be at a lower level. And I accepted it, and now I'm happy with it. Especially when they came out with, like, what's that guy's fucking name? Harvey Weinstein. And you see all these dudes that are, like, and, like, P. Diddy. Like, all these fucking people that wanted to make it, what they had to do, they had to be, like, in the room with him and fucking suck his dick or, like, get fucked in the ass. Like, who wants to put up with that shit just to fucking get a record deal or just to be getting a million hits on their videos and shit, you know? That solidified I made the right decision. I'm like, you know what, dude, I don't give a fuck about pursuing this dream anymore. I still love making content, music, cartoons, whatever it is. I just, the dream of, like, I need to be famous. I need to, like, pursue Hollywood. I need to, like, become part of that group. It completely dissolved when I saw what's really behind the curtain. And to me, it was all shit that had to be. It's just funny how it kind of aligned with the way while I was coming up. Like while I was coming up, like if I was trying to do what I was doing 30 years ago, I probably would have been sucked into that bullshit because no one knew about it, right? It's right when I was like trying to get famous, trying to put my shit out there. People are like, seeing my content for the first time, right when that's happening, that's when like all these allegations are coming out, all these crazy stories, all this shit's getting exposed. It was like going on simultaneously. It's almost like it was like trying to catch up to where I was going, and then finally it just broke through the fucking glass ceiling, and it's like, look, this is the world. This is how you get famous. If you want to continue pursuing it, this is what you're gonna have to do. Are you sure you want to do this? Because you're gonna have to be sucking P. Diddy's dick. You're gonna have to be doing this. You're gonna have to be doing that. You're gonna have to be doing some vile shit if you want your fucking measly little cartoon or fucking unheard music to get any sort of recognition. So when you present it to me like that, okay, I guess I'm bowing out. I'm gonna just stick to like doing what I like to do, which is creative pursuits, without the whole executive Zionist imprint on everything. And then that basically kind of coincides with like raising a family and staying out of trouble, and just basically realizing I was chasing a dragon that was never going to materialize unless I lowered my standards and values of what I thought an artist is. Back in the day, I thought if you sell out, you're just compromising your sound, or maybe you're going to make a song that you didn't really feel, but you just did it because the record label wanted you to make that kind of song. That's not even, that's like the tip of the iceberg. You're going to do whatever they fucking want you to do. Sexually, legally, it doesn't fucking matter. You're going to do what they need you to do so they can market you. And then when they're done using you, then they're going to toss you aside, take the rights to everything you ever made under their umbrella, and then you're just going to be, if you don't OD, then you'll just be a broke fucking loser. Unless you get smart, like Trent Reznor or somebody, and you just go on your own and do your own thing. But a lot of people don't have the legal savvy or the leadership skills to do that, At this point, it's not that I really wanted to be famous. I just wanted the recognition for what I do. But with that comes fame. And now, fame feels like a punishment. Like 30 years ago, being famous sounded kind of cool, Like, oh, cool, I get everything's comped. I go here, oh, here, right this way, sir. Here's a seat reserved for you. Oh, you're famous. Here, sign this autograph. Like, now it's like they're watching your every fucking move. Oh, did you see what he tweeted? Like, let's get him canceled. Like, you're randomly, like, hearing stories about celebrities, like, dropping dead, and it's like, what the fuck happened to them? Did their fucking agent or their manager or someone, like, fucking spike their drink and poison them so they could fucking collect their fucking, what they're worth or some shit? I mean, there's just so many things now where being famous, it really feels like a prison sentence in a lot of ways. So anyways, that's basically what the Trashy Show is. It's basically me feeling like I live in a simulation, and that's what it is. It's just a show, the Trashy Show. And now my wife even feels like she's experiencing that in a lot of regards. She'll tell me, "Oh my god, you won't believe what happened to me." And she's like, "Trashy Show," and then she'll like tell me whatever happened. And it almost like it's rubbing off on her now, and I feel really bad because I don't want anyone to have to feel like the way I feel in a lot of times, and just in life, A lot of times it feels like people just enter my life to deliberately just become an enemy, and it's really weird. I've had a lot of friends that, like, behind my back, just secretly told someone they just couldn't stand me or didn't like me or, like, would talk shit about me, or, like, they would just show their true colors after being with them for a few months. Just how much they didn't respect me or thought I was a piece of shit or whatever the fuck they think. It just, all that shit just feels like a simulation. Like, their whole simulation, like, their whole purpose was just, like, they're casted to be this person in my life. And it's 9 times out of 10, it's negative. Although sometimes there are positive situations with the Trashy Show. Real quick, I'm going to move on from this topic, but just real quick, one positive incident I can say is my friend was having a Super Bowl party, and they were doing the whole, like, the squares where you, like, bet on, like, the score for football. I don't care about football. I don't follow football. I'm not going to bet on it. Well, they had, like, one square left. They're like, can you please just put, like, $5 in, dude? If you win, you're going to get, like, $200. Like, just put in $5. I'm like, dude, I don't want to do that shit. Just, dude, come on, man. Just put, we'll have all the squares filled. Like, come on, man. I'm like, all right, fine, dude. Here's $5. I guess I'm taking that one square. I don't even know who the fuck's playing. I don't care who's playing. And I ended up winning the whole fucking thing. And it was like, what the fuck? The guy who doesn't even watch football he wins the fucking Super Bowl pool, and they were so pissed off, dude. Like, my friend who, like, organized the whole thing, he was, like, so annoyed, because he knew I didn't watch football, he knew I didn't give a shit, and he was, like, the one bugging me to, like, please put some money on the square. He was fucking so pissed. So that's an example where the Trashy show, I feel like, is a, you know, worked in my favor that time. Anyways, let's move on from that topic. I found this interesting. Supposedly this guy's a doctor. He says hospitals are full of sick people, and I'm not referring to the patients. So let's watch this real quick. If I can find it. There we go.
Hi, I'm Dr. Scott Jensen, and I am not exaggerating when I tell you, if you're a patient, your doctor, your insurance company, your clinic, your hospital, we can all get paid more if we make you sicker. And I think you need to understand that. This patient's on Medicare. His insurance company will get paid more by Medicare if this patient is seen as more sick. There's all kinds of incentive plans being doled out by insurance companies and government programs to clinics and providers and healthcare systems. For instance, one of them that you may have heard of is, if a clinic can hit a certain threshold level of patients taking a certain kind of vaccine, they get paid a chunk of money for each one of those patients that took the vaccine. So it's not uncommon to have like an influenza vaccine incentive program, and say you have 1,000 patients that could potentially qualify. Well, if you could hit, say, 60%, you might get this amount of money per patient. If you can hit 80%, they'll give you this much. Literally, doctors can get tens and tens of thousands of dollars on an annual basis for an incentive program as simple as that. Here's another one.
Anyways, so you get the gist of what he's talking about there. I just this is the whole reason why I didn't want to get the jab, because I don't trust doctors. And people are like, "What? You think you're smarter than a doctor?" I don't think I'm smarter than a doctor. I think these doctors are really intelligent, and they were able to like go through medical school. So obviously they're very smart people. I just think with any human being, money talks. So let's say you have your ground rules of what you believe. You know, I believe this, I believe that, I went to school, I learned this. If someone says, hey, I will give you $1 million or enter figure if you say the opposite or you add a little fluff to that, will you do it? I feel like 99% of people will do that because everyone's trying to survive, right? And, you know, just because you're a doctor doesn't mean like you're exempt. So, I mean, I feel like the hospital thing, like, yeah, dude. Unless I have a broken bone, something I need, like I have to go to a doctor to get like a cast or some shit, I don't want to go to a doctor. These doctors are just there to prescribe medications, and everyone thinks they're like these heroes who want to like make you better. They don't want to make you better. They want to make you sicker. They want you to come back. You know what I mean? And that, I mean, I feel like that even translates to dentists too. Like a dentist, like, oh, you need a root canal. Are you sure? Or I just need to fucking get this little cap filled. Like, no, we need to rip your tooth out. Fucking, they want to make money off you, dude. It's a business. Anyways, I thought that was. I've been saying this for years, and I feel like a lot of people think I'm full of shit or I'm just a conspiracy theorist. But here's a doctor himself saying that. So I feel like that was interesting. Like, that needed to be said. 6 suspects indicted on assault. This is another story that I heard about it, but I didn't think much of it because it was like whatever, you know, this shit happens all the time. But now we're actually seeing things changed. Where like, I feel like if we were still under Biden's presidency, these suspects would have probably walked, or not even got arrested. They probably wouldn't even pursued it. But because we have Trump in office now, and there's like a microscope on this kind of shit with the race war stuff, like these guys are facing 30 years in prison. Good. I'm sick of. I think everyone's sick of like black people thinking they have complete exoneration from any sort of fucking blowback on their actions, because white people don't. White people have to respond to the shit they do wrong. So should black people. You're gonna be on camera beating the fuck out of some random white chick? Yeah, you need to be punished. And I hope this shows as an example to like, hey, quit beating people up, quit being savages. If you don't like what someone does or says, walk away. 6 suspects have been indicted on charges related to a violent attack on 2 people in downtown Cincinnati, Ohio, that occurred in late July. The 6 suspects are facing 8 charges each: 3 counts of felonious assault, 3 counts of assault, and 2 counts of aggravated riot. So yeah, if convicted on all counts, each suspect faces nearly 30 years in prison. Good. Black fatigue is real, dude. And I really, when Obama became president, I feel like a lot of black people, I'm not going to say all black people, because I know people think, oh, you're being racist. A lot of black people, enough to like cause of concern, felt invincible now. Oh, I have a black president, I can do it. I've had black people tell me on the internet that they can't get cancer. That cancer's white people shit. How deluded, how egotistical and narcissistic do you have to believe that you can't get cancer because you're black? That's just insane, dude. That's some of the mentality. I mean, they're not older people, they're younger people, obviously. That's how stupid they are. They're really young. But this was like 10 years ago when they were telling me this shit. Anyways, this girl got really fucked up, man. I don't know how you could do that to somebody unless they like fuck with your kid. And I don't care. You know, if this girl said the N-word, the dreaded N-word, it still doesn't justify you doing that to somebody. There isn't a word you could call me that would justify me feeling like I have to go beat your ass to the point where you're gonna die. You gotta fuck with my family or my kid, or put my life in danger where I feel like I have to like save my own life to beat you to a bloody pulp like that. I don't know what's wrong with these people's brains, dude. They haven't evolved or what's going on here, but there's a segment of society who are still living in like the Middle Ages, dude. That's all I can say about that. Here's a funny story. Woman leaves husband and sleeps with over 100 men after being diagnosed with cancer. Oh my god. So, it just goes to show in today's society where women think empowering themselves is going to the bottom of the barrel. I don't know why that is. I don't know what caused that. But there's an epidemic of women who think they're being empowering by telling men or the patriarchy, quote unquote, that you can't call me a slut. I'll show you what a slut is. I'll fucking fuck 10,000 people tonight. That's not how it works. You're ruining your own prestige by doing that kind of shit. This woman got diagnosed with breast cancer. I guess she was having problems with her husband. He couldn't get it up or something. So what is her answer? Well, let me go fuck a bunch of dudes until I'm dead. I guess they made a TV show out of this or some sort of shit. But, it's not this girl, by the way. It's this one over here that looks like she's already Skeletor. But, yeah, I don't know what's going on. I mean, the women's right movement, it really did more harm than good, I feel like. On paper, it sounds good. Like, oh, yes, women are equal. They can go to work. And you know what you did? You achieved the right to be taxed by the government. That's all you did. Now it requires 2 incomes to raise a family instead of 1. Because all these butt ugly women who couldn't get married, or chicks that were too batshit insane for any man to deal with, couldn't find a husband, and they were just left out in the dating pool, and they couldn't pay taxes, and they weren't getting paid for with their husband or a man. So what has to happen? They have to go in the workforce. And that's basically the tragedy of the women's right movement. Oh, here's a story, dude. Nova Scotia bans all outdoor activities over there. I know you won't believe this shit, so just watch the story here.
The extreme fire risk has pushed Nova Scotia leaders to take big steps and ban some popular activities. Camping, hiking, fishing, using vehicles in the woods. It's all off the table as the smallest spark could be catastrophic in the tinder dry conditions.
I'm losing sleep about what's happening, and that's why we're here today.
The Premier knows some people won't be happy with this plan to pull as many people from the woods as possible, but he says he has no choice. The conditions are eerily similar to 2 years ago when massive fires burned down hundreds of homes.
As a society, we must do everything possible to protect each other, to protect our communities, to protect property, and of course to protect lives.
Official campgrounds will remain open. Anyone who breaks the rules faces a $25,000 fine. The new rules also extend to forestry and mining companies who now need permits in order to keep working on Crown land. Some will have to work at night to minimize the risk.
I understand these restrictions mean that some people will need to change their plans and routines. But when compared to the damage that we saw in 2023, it's not a risk to take.
And if you're a smoker, for God's sakes, be mindful of where you're butting your butt out. If you don't, and you cause a fire, we will hold you accountable.
For those who spend time in the woods, this is coming as no surprise. The province's ATV Association says its members have been talking about the increasingly dry conditions for weeks.
So we have 5, 6...
Anyway, so my friend Jose Abrego sent me that story on Instagram as a reel. I couldn't believe it. I was like, he's got to be joking. I watched it, like, holy shit. I think they finally realized that the the whole getting everyone scared about a disease is not going to work, so they got to do climate change. If you don't, I mean, that's like the new threat, dude. It's like, if you don't obey, your house might burn down. So they don't want you hiking, they don't want you fishing, they don't want you to do anything. And Canada is so fucking stupid, they'll probably fucking follow the rules. I have more faith in America that you would not be able to pay, you would not be able to play that off here. But the problem is, it starts in Canada, becomes normalized, and then it just spreads throughout. I just can't believe that anyone would agree to that shit. If you're still worried about fucking forest fires, manage your brush. How about you put a barrier of concrete or something? Do something. Not just don't go outside ever again. The fucking absurdity of what we're dealing with in 2025, it just blows my mind, dude. Okay, so another thing I want to talk about is WWE making a streaming deal with ESPN, which really pisses me off. If you look back to like when wrestling first got a streaming network, the WWE network, it was $9.99 a month, and then if you want to watch Raw and SmackDown, you had to have a cable plan or whatever. It still was not that expensive. But ever since WWE got bought by TKO and they did the whole merger with whatever the fuck they're doing, it's just been nothing but money grab, money grab, money grab. And I really don't see how this company can continue to work at this pace without eventually being sold to or being bankrupt at some point. Because now they want PLEs on ESPN, which is $29.99 a month. You're going to have Raws, only Raw, and I guess the Raw, Raw library on Netflix. And what is that, like fucking $12.99 or something a month? Or, there's probably different tiers there, but, somewhere on that ballpark. And then you have SmackDown, what you have to have on either cable or I think you can watch it on YouTube TV. And then you have to have Peacock for the back catalog of like all the old pay-per-views. Then they want to, when NXT fucking gets off Peacock, they're going to want to put that on a different network. Point is, at some point, you're going to have like fucking 4 or 5 apps to watch all this shit. And I'm going to bring up this fucking Let me grab this thing real quick so you can see what it's going to cost annually if you want to watch this shit with whatever. If you want to watch like all the content, what you're going to have to do that. So I'm going to Dropbox. I just upload the photo. My friend Mike Checker had mentioned like it's not entirely accurate because you couldn't watch Raw and SmackDown on the WWE Network when it first came out. So fair enough. I'll give you that. It was still way cheaper. So here we go right here. So look at this shit. Netflix for Raw. Plan with ads, $7.99 a month, $95.88 a year. So add that. If you want SmackDown and the WWE library, $131 a year. If you want to pay, I like to pay annually. I don't like to pay monthly. To me, it feels cheaper for some weird reason. I guess I don't know. Then you want the PLEs. If you want the PLEs plus like the SmackDown and the back library, all this shit, all together, cheapest option, $563.75 a month. You add all the shit together with all the bells and whistles. If you want everything, if you're a WWE nerd and you have to have every fucking piece of content, almost $1,200 a month. $1,200 a year to watch this shit. So we're going from $9.99 a month, give or take a few. Let's say worst case scenario, $100 a month. Worst case scenario, to $1,200 a month. It's not sustainable, dude. They're not going to be able to. They're going to lose. This shit's going to bite them in the ass at some point. I don't know how they don't realize that. Or maybe they do realize that and they don't give a fuck. And the whole point is just to milk it for what it's worth and then sell back to Vince McMahon. I don't know what their plan is, but it just sounds like complete stupidity. I'm telling you right now, as someone who's loved wrestling and has been paying for this shit since 2014 when the network first came up, I ain't paying for ESPN. I don't watch other sports, at least not religiously. I'm not paying $29.99 a month for a pay-per-view once a month that's going to have more ads and less content. It's stupid. I'm sure some people will do that, and, more power to you, but it's fucking retarded. And I think anyone that agrees to that is retarded. So anyways, that's my thoughts on the WWE Network. I really hope they get their shit together, because if they don't, I'm going to be a pirate. And if I can't pirate it because they make it too hard, then I guess I'm just, goodbye, WWE. I loved you. I grew up with you, but I'm not paying your bullshit, dude. Take all those Jews out of your business, or I ain't fucking with you anymore. And then that also goes to like thoughts on Nintendo Switch 2. First of all, why do I want a Nintendo Switch 2? You guys, Nintendo's flagship game is what? Mario Brothers? The graphics are what they are, dude. They don't get any better. They can't get any more better unless you're making a completely different game. You're going to show me, we can play Cyberpunk on Switch 2. Guess what? The Steam Deck has been doing that for years. Switch 2 should have came out 5 years ago. Before Steam Deck before Steam Deck even existed or was even a thought. You're too late. You don't deserve the money you're trying to sell the Switch 2 for. Anyone that buys it, I don't know why you're buying it. They're already saying the Mario Kart game that's like, you can play up to 24 players or whatever it is in the races. It's already like half bots because people are like over it. So what are you paying all this money for? You can play everything you want on the regular Switch. I think the Switch 2 needs to come down in price, and I'm hoping they figure it out too, because no one's paying this shit anymore, dude. We live in an economy where everything's overinflated. We're sick of it. If we can't pay for it, we're either going to pirate it, emulate it, or we won't do it at all, because it's not that important, dude. You know what's more important than gaming or movies? Being able to survive. Being able to eat food and buy groceries. And I don't feel like these companies get that. They're still living in this like COVID world where everyone's just sitting at home all day with all this money and nothing but time to play games, and just spend money on everything. It doesn't work that way, dude. You're not gonna get that anymore. All right, so see where are we at here with the time. hour and 20. That's a decent podcast. I didn't expect it to go this long, to be honest. Let's see. Thoughts on Twisted Metal 2, Season 2? I'm going to tell you right now, I barely remember Season 1 since it's been so long since I had seen it. I left that season of Season 1 not in love with it, but like, hey, it has potential. I was willing to like sit through all the bullshit I didn't like, thinking, okay, I hope when we get to Season 2, we won't have all this dumb bullshit. We got past the dumb bullshit, the filler crap, the whatever boxes they need to check to make it a TV show for everybody. And now we can get to the nitty gritty of what Twisted Metal was. And Season 2, the first 3 episodes, I ain't gonna lie it. I ain't gonna sugarcoat it, dude. I didn't like it at all. It felt too woke. It felt like they're just trying to like shove sexual innuendos in there for like no fucking reason. I'm not against sexual innuendos. Don't get me wrong. I'm not a prude. I get it's a sophomoric fucking video game, I guess, in some way. And they want to make it like, you know, appeal to teenagers. But make it make sense, dude. Like, the new release this had was episode 4 and 5, I believe. And the writing was better. And I'm like, okay, you know, they're starting to showcase more of the, like, the action combat, and like they're showing the characters now, the cars and all that stuff. But then they had like a scene where like I forget the black guy's name, I forget his fucking name, and the other chick, Quiet, and the other fucking, I can't remember his name off the top of my head right now. But anyways, like, they're like in a building and it's like on fire, and like instead of just getting the shit they want to get and getting the fuck out of there, oh, let's have sex first. So they have like a sex scene to like be funny, or like I don't know what the point of it was. It was just stupid. How about if you want to put a sex scene, have them get like the missiles or whatever they're trying to get out of that building, and then when they get back to their hotel room and they're safe, then have the sex scene. Just like common sense shit. It's just like the writing of these characters is so stupid. It's really hard to like support them or give a fuck if they even die because they're so dumb. And I don't know if that's like the point of the cartoon. I mean, not the cartoon. The point of the show is just to make everyone so fucking dumb that you don't care when they die in this tournament. Because if that's the goal, then I guess they accomplish it. Because I don't give a fuck who dies in this show. They can all die, and they're like, okay, whatever. It doesn't matter to me because they're all fucking dumbasses. So, I will say though, 4 and 5 was better written. I think it had a different writer. But can we stop having female writers, female LGBTQ, fucking whatever the fuck they are, writers, write this show? Please stop. It's not for women, okay? It's not for LGBTQ people. It's just not. I'm not saying they can't like it. It just wasn't intended for them. If they happen to be that and they like it, cool. Welcome aboard. But it wasn't tailored for them. It wasn't meant for them. It was meant for like young dudes who want to see destruction, derby shit. And I don't understand why these fucking people in Hollywood don't get it. Alright, so rolling this up here. Got 2 more things I want to discuss. Oh, one more thing. Supposedly honeybee venom cures cancer, supposedly. That's like the new thing that's came out. I don't know if that's true, but it does make a lot of sense why I'm seeing honeybees laying on the ground dead every time I fucking walk somewhere. Just something to think about. Because I was always wondering, like, when I was a kid, there was always like a bumblebee. Like, I used to play baseball, you know, when I was like Little League, and there was always some fucking bumblebee or a honeybee like buzzing around me, and I'd be fucking trying to, I'd be like in like left field, like running around, like, get the fuck away from me, I want to get stung. And like that doesn't happen anymore. I don't see any of those fucking bees anymore. And when I do see them, they're already dead, or they're like sitting there scrambling to like stay alive, and I'm walking past them and not making sure I don't step on them to go about my business. And I didn't understand why are bees dying for some reason. And then you hear that, you read that storyline, you read that headline, how, oh, honeybee venom cures cancer. Oh, okay. That makes sense now. They must have done some sort of ecological bullshit to make honeybees no longer sustainable in this environment. Because, you know, where I live, where everything's conspiracy, to me that makes sense. If you want to get rid of something that cures cancer, kill it off. Let's go here to, we're almost done here, guys. Israeli bombshell. Israeli agent makes bombshell admission about Epstein, Trump, and Clinton. So I don't believe this bullshit, but I'm going to play it for you guys, and you can make your own opinion. I started at, what is it, 1:21.
Epstein's lawyer, Alan Dershowitz, came on this show, the emeritus professor of law at Harvard, and said, no, Trump's behavior as regards Gaza, as regards bombing Iran, as regards bombing Yemen, all his behavior can't be explained by any blackmail tapes of Trump. Do you believe in any way that the genocide in Gaza is being prolonged by the late Jeffrey Epstein?
I certainly believe that the Israelis are making sure that the Americans do not stop them from the killing in Gaza. I believe that the American government is sort of trapped by the Israelis. Jeffrey Epstein is one of their tools to trap them. I want to give you an example. Bill Clinton, President Bill Clinton, Ehud Barak met Arafat in the 90s, and there was no deal. The reason was Epstein. They were being blackmailed by Epstein. Ehud Barak was also a friend of Epstein, the Prime Minister of Israel at the time. But he was being blackmailed by the Israeli right wing as well. And they stopped an agreement with Arafat. They were about to reach an agreement there for a two-state solution, but that was stopped because of Epstein. They were both being blackmailed by Epstein.
All right, so anyways, this chick's going to go on to continue asking, like, why is this not headline news? Why, how come this guy's saying this on, in the media and no one's jumping on it? And I'll say this. It's because he's not credible, okay? Trust me, I would love to, like, find some dude that's, like, legit. And, says, oh, Clinton's connected to this and Trump's connected to that. You can't... Anyone can just go out there and say they're this or that. What is the proof that he's some sort of Israeli intelligence agent? He just said it, so we have to believe it? Like, come on, man. That's what's pissing off with these fucking, what is this, Raw News and Politics? I never even heard of this channel before. They got 213,000 subscribers. And this shit goes off and says, like, oh, this guy's the truth. Like, he's telling you what's going on here. Yeah, that sounds great, but there's no proof. There's no proof that that's true. And the reason why I believe there's no proof that it's true is because if there was proof that Trump was that connected to Epstein, there was like video footage of him fucking kids or whatever, they would have done that in 2016, so he wouldn't have became president. And then he became president. And what did they do to try to get him out of presidency? They made up Russiagate. Why would you make up Russiagate when you have an entire treasure trove of Epstein files of him being a fucking creep with kids? Wouldn't you just use the fucking... And people say, well, because they're part of it too. They don't want to incriminate themselves. Guess what? If you're in charge of the files, you can decide what files get released and what files don't. Excuse me. What files get released and what files don't. The Biden administration could say, oh, all those files with Clinton, they don't exist. Or they could have deleted them. And they could say, here's the files that exist for Epstein. It's all about Trump. Trump did it. Trump, it's all Trump. Breaking news, Trump is the only person who happened to go to Epstein Island. They could have done that. They had the power to do that. They didn't do it. Why not? Because they don't have proof. They have accusations. They have things that are written on paper, but there's nothing that proves he did it. And I don't understand people don't understand this shit, dude. It's not that complicated. If you have physical evidence, if you have proof, if you have someone who's willing to die on the fucking altar saying, he raped me, under oath, and she's got some sort of, like, evidence, fine. These people do this shit 30 years later when he's running for president. Oh yeah, that's right, he raped me. Wait, who's that guy again? Oh, that's right, he is a dude who raped me. I knew him. That doesn't fucking cut it, dude. You should have said he raped you 30 years ago, not when he's running for president. It's bullshit. And people need to understand that shit, dude. Trust me, I would love for all these people, Clinton, Trump, whoever the fuck's involved, if they are involved, to go down. But if you don't have evidence, you have nothing. Accusations is not proof. Can we please understand that? Whether you lean left or right. And then, before we go, I want to just add this. I thought this was funny, and it makes a lot of sense if you look at today's thing going on.
Tell you right now, if you listen, NSACA, I'm available. Okay, if you show me all the real wreckage, I swear to God, I will make fun of that crap to the end of time. I'll make up stories. I'll lie to my mother. I don't care. You show me a UFO, I'll lie to my mother.
Tonight, are there aliens?
Anyways, I don't know if you can hear that, but if you could, Joe Rogan is pleading, begging with the elites, the Illuminati, whatever title you want to call them, deep state. He's saying, please, just give me the answers. Let me know if aliens exist. I will find out the information if you give it to me, and I will then lie about it. I will tell my mom it's not true. I will make fun of it. And it's what I've thought about Joe Rogan for about 10 years now, is that he's bought and paid for. When you start having CIA and all these FBI people on your podcast, you're a fucking shill. And I don't trust Joe Rogan. I haven't trusted him for years. I don't hate him. Like, whatever, dude. Do what you gotta do to make money. But I don't trust you. I don't think you're a conservative fucking hero or anything. I think you were a fucking liberal progressive, and then when you realized that wasn't gonna make you money, you decided to switch to the other team. I don't trust you. I don't necessarily like you. When I've met you in person, you were kind of high school bully mode, because I wasn't cool enough to be at your table. And I really don't give a shit how fucking well you fare off because of your political decisions as far as it relates to how much money you make in the future. Like, if you go broke, oh well. Not that it's going to happen, because you pretty much got a lot of these fucking people hoodwinked, but I don't believe for 1 minute Joe Rogan is any sort of hero for the right. But anyways, that's about pretty much all I had to say for tonight's podcast. I'm glad you were here. If you lasted this long, thank you very much. And I'll leave you with this. This is the Trashy Show now. Not the Jimbo Trashy Podcast. The Trashy Show. Episode 42, where everything is a conspiracy. Even you are a conspiracy.
Is a conspiracy.
And we'll see you next time
Is a conspiracy.
on the next episode of The Trashy Show.
Everything is a conspiracy.
You are watching the Global Psychosis Network.